Hey, Five Finance family. Welcome to this edition of Let's Talk Tuesday. On this month, the month of September, it is National Preparedness Month. The government looks at this month as National Preparedness Month for natural disasters, but I wanted to take the opportunity to talk to you about being prepared financially for things that we have in life that are unplanned and things that maybe we plan to do in life. And so every week we're going to be highlighting an area that we can prepare for financially as we journey through this thing called life, right? So this week we are going to start with preparing financially for a storm or a natural disaster. And so I want you to make sure you stay with us until the end of the live. I have a special announcement to make. And then I also want to make sure that I share with you an avenue in which you can give back to those who are in need, those who were affected by Hurricane Ida. There are some websites that I have vetted personally, and a website that I'm going to share with you that I used in order to search for a reputable agency and contribute to them in their efforts to provide for those who were affected by Hurricane Ida. So make sure you stick with us throughout the entire live so that you can get that information and you can also hear about our giveaway or our special announcement. I kind of already told you a little bit at the end. Okay. Hopefully, you all can hear me loud and clear. And so, with that being said, we're going to jump right into it. So, again, National Preparedness Month, and we're talking about preparing financially for a natural disaster. So, I want to start by asking a series of questions. So, feel free to jump in the comments throughout the live and let me know, give me thumbs up or give me a thumb down if it's a no, thumb up if it's a yes, and if you have any additional questions, please feel free to share those with me throughout the live. Okay, so this is interactive. It's just me and y'all tonight. Okay. So when we talk about preparing for a natural disaster, the first question that I have for you is, do you know all of your streams of income? Okay. For some of us, we may have multiple streams. So you may have income that's coming from your employer, like a W-2. You may have income that you're getting from investments, right? You may have income that you're getting from a retirement account. If you have a side hustle, maybe you got income that you're getting from your side hustle. So it's imperative that you know all of your streams of income, and then it's even more important to know how to gain access to that easily, right? So make sure you remember all of your users and your password, your user ID, your passwords, so you can gain access to those platforms in order to get that money transferred over to your checking account, or you can gain accessibility to that money. So make sure you understand that. The second question that I have for you is, do you have direct deposit? So this is important because in case of a natural disaster or COVID, for instance, right? A lot of businesses were closed down. They were considered non-essential. And because they were closed down, if you were a person that you went to work to get your paycheck, now how are you getting your paycheck? Now that paycheck had to be mailed to you. So now you don't have the luxury of, being able to cash your check on Friday. So maybe it got mailed out on Friday and you didn't get to cash your check until Monday. So that's a span of 2-3 days that you are potentially without funds, potentially without income, right? So you don't want that to happen. So I always tell people, make sure you set up direct deposit. Even if you think about it from the aspect of like not being storm ready, but just in general, you're able to gain access to those funds a lot sooner and a lot easier when you have it via direct deposit. So make sure you have your direct deposit set up. The third question I'm going to ask is, do you have a fully funded emergency fund? So I know that I've been preaching this for months, okay? But this is very, very, very important for our finance family. When you are starting your emergency fund, I always advise for you to start at $1,000. Okay, but essentially the goal is to have 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses in your emergency fund. And when I say living expenses, I'm talking about essentials. Okay, so when we say essentials, we're talking about roof over your head, food in your stomach, and transportation. Those are your essentials. Okay. So when you're talking about establishing an emergency fund, start off with 1,000, but continue to build on that fund until you have 3 to 6 months worth of savings for your essentials should something happen. Okay. Um, Again, going back to COVID and even going back to, what more recently Hurricane Ida, right? A lot of people had to be displaced from their home, from their residence. And so if they had to leave town, they had to have access to money um, easily, right? And quickly. And hopefully they had enough money saved up where they were able to, pay for a hotel for a few weeks. And so that's where things like emergency funds come in hand, right? So make sure that you have those emergency funds. Remember the ultimate goal, 3 to 6 months. Okay, we have a question or comment. So Wayne says, should we keep the emergency fund on hand in cash or keep it in the bank? So I do not like to travel with large amounts of cash on me, only because I'm a very forgetful person and I will more than likely misplace it. However, Wayne, I would say that you could put it on a gift card, like if you wanted to make sure that that cash was readily available and you had access to it. You could put the funds on a gift card and just make sure that that's kept close to your person in your wallet. Or you could absolutely just have all of it in your checking account. Usually, if you have your debit card with you, it's very easy to access those funds. Okay, so I feel like as long as it's in your bank, you should not have a problem, and it's a little more secure in your bank, right? Should you lose your debit card, there are apps on your phone right now where you can shut it off or you can freeze it, so that no one else can access your account. And then your bank insures your money up to a certain amount. So I would say it's fine just being in your checking account. Okay. And so then that moves me on to the fourth question I want to ask you. Do you have the right amount of insurance? So, insurance is many areas, right? The first area that I want to talk about is homeowners insurance, because when we talk about natural disasters like Ida, like hurricanes, right? Usually the damage is done to your home, to your residence. And so you want to make sure that your home is adequately insured. And when I say adequately insured, not only is the replacement, like the structure of the home, covered, but also all of your belongings. So when you have to leave at a moment's notice, like you can't pack up your entire closet, right? You can't get the flat screen off the wall. There's going to be some things that you absolutely have to leave behind because you got to go. Time is of the essence. And so you want to make sure that all of those items are covered should you have to submit a claim and should you suffer a loss. Okay. So make sure you have adequate homeowners insurance. Another thing to consider is flood insurance. Most times in a homeowner's policy, flood insurance is not included. So you want to make sure that you have that additional coverage, especially if you are in an area where it's prone to flood. I remember we lived in the Low Country, and so that's an area in the South Carolina, in the state of South Carolina. It's called the Low Country, And so because we lived in that area and the area we lived in was prone to flood, like I made sure we had flood insurance on our homeowners insurance policy, because should a loss occur, I wanted to make sure that any damages were covered. And so you got to make sure that you have adequate coverage when you're talking about losses, right? For your home and for flood events, okay? Another insurance type that you want to make sure you have, let's say that you don't own your home, but you're renting from someone, and you're in an apartment and you're renting. Make sure you have a renter's insurance. Again, it goes back to just making sure your personal items are going to be replaced should you suffer a loss. Okay, so whether you own a home or not, make sure that you're covering those personal items. All right, we got another question from Wayne. How do we know when enough insurance is enough, and should we increase the insurance during hurricane season? So, what I would say is do a good inventory, and we're going to get into this later, Wayne, but do a good inventory of everything that's in your house, right? So that you have a good value amount that you're going to assess on all of your assets. And make sure that that amount is included as like I think there's a line where it says like personal item loss or something like that. Make sure that everything that you have in your home, all your flat screens, your computers, your clothing, any jewelry, like my husband's an avid gun collector, right? So you got to make sure we're including all those guns. You just got to make sure that everything that you have in your home, that it will be replaced should you suffer a loss. So the best way to do that is to actually just do an inventory list. And we're going to get into that on the last thing, but that's the best way to do that. All right, we got another comment. Let's see. So Regina says, should you get flood insurance even if you're not in a flood zone? Absolutely. So I'm going to tell you why, Regina. I have flood insurance again on my home because I was in an area that was prone to flood. But we actually had a flood take place in our home, and it wasn't caused by a natural disaster. So I was thankful that we had flood insurance at that time. Like a pipe or something burst in the wall, and we didn't realize it, and it had been like leaking for I don't know how long. Apparently, it was so bad, like all of our floors had to be replaced. And so, thank God we had flood insurance on the home because it was able to cover that water damage. So yeah, I would encourage it even if you weren't in a flood area. And then things happen, right? Like I feel like we saw, I don't know how long ago it was. I think it was 2020 in Texas, of all places where I have never heard of flooding before. They had this massive flood. And so I'm pretty sure those people weren't thinking that they were in an area that was prone to flood, but it happens. And so I would say it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So that's how I look at insurance. So then we want to talk about auto insurance. So auto insurance, make sure that you have the right amount of coverage on your automobile. So there's this thing called gap insurance. I'm not sure if you are all aware of what gap insurance is, but I learned about gap insurance maybe about 12 years ago. So gap insurance is just that, it's filling the gap. So let's say that you go out and buy a car, and the loan that you take out on the car is like $20,000. I don't know, it's a cheap car. Don't judge me. And so then, so you have a $20,000 loan on the car, and a week later, you total lost the car. You get into an accident, it's total lost, right? Or something happened, a natural disaster happens, your car is totaled, okay? And so, well, let's say a year later. So then you go to the insurance agency and you say, hey, I got to file this claim. My car was total loss. Like, here you go. Here's the evidence. What do we do? And the insurance claim says, okay, well, we value the car at $15,000. But you're like, but I owe 20. You know, it just happened last week. I owe 20. Because some assets naturally depreciate, you want to make sure that you're covering that gap, okay? Because the bank is going to say, yeah, we'll take that check from the insurance company for 15, but you still owe us the 5, okay? So that's where the gap insurance comes in. It fills the gap between what your vehicle is valued at and then what you owe. Okay, so it fills that gap. Usually, when you get gap insurance, it's through the institution that you're financing your vehicle through. Okay, so I know whenever I get gap insurance, like let's say I go to my bank and I want to get a loan for a car that I'm buying, like it'll ask me, do you want gap insurance? And I always say, yes, please, because you never know what's going to happen. And with a vehicle, as soon as you roll it off the lot, it depreciates. It's just the nature of the beast, right? So some assets appreciate, meaning they go up in value, and some assets depreciate, meaning they go down in value. Okay. So, then the last and final insurance type that you want to make sure you're fully covered for is life insurance. Okay, so should something happen to you, you want to make sure that you have enough coverage to pay for your funeral costs. Okay, you want to make sure you have enough coverage to pay for all of your debt, and then you want to make sure you have enough coverage to leave your family with living expenses, right? So it should pay for all of their living expenses from here on out, especially if you were the breadwinner of the family. Okay, you want to make sure that you have coverage or enough coverage to do those things when we're talking about shopping around for life insurances. Okay, and you can do whole life and do term life. Excuse me. I don't get too much into like which one you should pick because it really just depends on your situation and what you're trying to do. So, but I would say, absolutely shop around. Make sure you get some good, excuse me, rates. Okay, when shopping around for that life insurance. The other question that I want to ask, so we lost camera. Let's see. All right, there we go. So, okay, camera is gone again. Can you guys see me? Because I think we lost the camera. I think we lost the camera. I don't know if you guys can see me or not. Okay, I think we're out of power. I think you guys can hear me, but I'm not sure if you can see me. Can you see me? No, you can't see me. No, you can't see me. But you can hear me. Can you hear me still? Can you guys hear me? No, can't see. No. Okay, can't see. No. So you guys can't see me. Yes, you can hear me, but you can't see me. Okay. So hopefully we get the visual back up. So you can hear, but you can't see. So then the next thing that I want to talk about, and hopefully we get the visual back up before I get to like the last, are making sure that your documents are safe. So I know when I was growing up, my dad had a safe that he would put all of our important documents in. And so I'm talking about things like your birth certificate, your social security card, your passports, any wills, any deeds. Like dad would make sure that those were in like a fireproof safe should something happen. And he was able to still retrieve those documents. Well, now we're in the 21st century, right? So you can upload those documents to like a cloud-based service, and you can just make sure that you're using that. Okay, and can y'all see me now? Can everybody see me now? I know the video is a little different, but I just want to make sure that everybody can see me. Cool. We can, let's see, can't see what it says. Can, hold on, so that you can see the picture. We can see picture is back. Okay, perfect. Um, so we're in the 21st century now. So what I would suggest that you do is use like one of those cloud-based or web hosting type deals where you can upload your documents into a cloud-based server where it's secure, right? And it's still kept confidential, and you're able to easily access it should there be a natural disaster or something happens where you need to leave your home immediately, you have to leave some of those documents behind. You want to make sure that you can at least gain access to it, okay, should you need it. And so then going back to what Wayne had asked earlier about, making sure you're properly insured. Again, inventory all of your personal assets, right? So anything that is not considered a part of that home, let's make sure that we are inventorying it. So that's the best way to make sure that you are completely covered should you suffer a loss and that all of your items would be replaced. Okay. So make sure that we do a good job of inventory those assets so that you can properly value those assets. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. I hope this was informative. Did we lose the video again? Can you see me, guys? Let's see. I don't know. Okay. All right. You guys can see me okay? I should be back in video now. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this was informative. I just, again, wanted to make sure that I got in front of you guys, especially considering the recent events that happened with Hurricane Ida. I wanted to make sure that you all were prepared should an event occur and you were affected. So again, I mentioned earlier about a website that I wanted to share with you all. So the website is listed on the screen below. Hopefully you can see it. I encourage you to visit this website. Okay, so this is a government approved website, and what it has is the approved organizations that are actually giving relief and aid to those affected by Ida right now. And so there is a list of organizations for you to choose from. Um, I would suggest that you do that. You make your own decision, right? I don't want to encourage you to choose one over the other. Most of the times we think of, right? Let me think of, let's see, what's another one? Like, I can't think of an agency right now that we use like all the time. Red Cross, right? So we think about Red Cross usually when we're talking about hurricane relief, but there are a plethora of agencies out there that help, and then there are some that actually tell you like how much of your dollar is actually going to the person. And so I think the agency that I choose was Helping Hands, and I liked them because it was like 95 cents of every dollar was going to the hurricane Ida relief, okay, to affect those affected. But again, I want you to go through the list and you made the decision um, of what organization you want to donate to. Okay, it's a tax write off, guys. And then some of these organizations also will allow you to do a match with your employer. So if you fill out the information and you put your employer's information in there too, then your employer may also be able to match your contribution. So that's even more aid going to help those in need. So hopefully you visit the website and you make your contributions to help those affected again by Hurricane Ida. Again, our hearts go out to those, our hearts and our prayers go out to those all affected. Okay, so Five Finance family, don't let me down. Help someone else. Okay, and so for the big announcement, right? What we're gonna start doing, because I get so much love from you all week over week, and I'm ever so grateful for you all taking some time out of your schedule and joining me every week for Let's Talk Tuesdays. Let's see. I'm sorry. I just want to. Okay, so everybody just said thank you for the information. Cool. What I want to do is be able to give away some goodies. So I had some promotional products made up, and we're going to be posting some pictures of those later that I want to be able to give away. But I want to do it in a very special way. So a few months ago now, in July, I announced that I fired my boss, and in celebration of doing that, we created this Facebook group called Fire Your Boss, Entrepreneurs Unite. And so, if you have not joined our Facebook group, I encourage you to go over and join the Facebook group tonight. Okay. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be selecting a member from the Facebook group to receive our little swag bag, right? Our swag bag with some Five Finance swag in it, so that you can show your love for Five Finance whenever you're out and about, right? Or in the comforts of your home. So we want to make sure that you visit the page, the Facebook group, sign up, right? Answer the questions, please. We do have some questions that we need you to fully answer before we can allow you to become a member. And then once you are in there, we want you to use the hashtag FIFreebie. Okay, so FYE freebie, FREEBIE. Okay, so FIFreebie once you're in the group, and we will be selecting a special winner once a week, right, for the month of September. So again, it's just our thanks to you for rocking with us and tuning in with us week over week. We truly, truly appreciate all the love and the support of our finance family. So thank you. If we don't have any more comments or questions, no, okay. So hopefully it was informative. Hopefully now you all can, be more financially prepared or either start preparing financially for those natural disasters. And like I said, for the remainder of the month, we're going to be talking about preparing for different events in life, right? So we're going to be talking about preparing for college, preparing for baby, maybe preparing for adulthood. So definitely continue to tune in to learn some tips, some strategies, and some things maybe that you did not consider to make sure that you are properly prepared for the planned and the unplanned events, right? So again, thank you, Five Finance family, for tuning in on this edition of Let's Talk Tuesday. Don't forget, visit our Facebook group page, sign up, answer those questions, and use hashtag FiveFreebie so that you can be entered into the drawing to receive our free grab bag for this week. Right? Until next time, Five Finance family, have a good evening.